Hello, everybody. Here we are back again at Voices from the Hill. This show will be aired in March. We are filming in the middle of February, but it's great to see everyone. As always, I'm joined by my colleagues, the best legislative delegation at the State House, Representative Carol Fiola,
great to be here.
Representative Alan Sylvia, and Representative Paul Schmid. And we are all honored to be here and proud that we have the opportunity to serve all of you on Beacon Hill. And it's been a while. We've had a little winter, a couple months of winter off. But here it was, February 15th, and it was 68 degrees. I know.
Yesterday was unbelievable.
Unbelievable, this weather. So hopefully when this is airing, I don't want to jinx us, but we can go all winter without any plowable snow.
Well, I was listening to Rob Carolyn. You know him from WSAR.
And what's he saying?
Well, he said a lot of things that maybe didn't pan out yet, which is good. But he said, be prepared. I'm seeing something ahead in March. So as you're viewing this, I hope you're not dealing with snow.
Maybe you're hunkered down in a snow day as you're watching this. I hope
maybe
not.
Maybe one snow day.
We've had no snow days. We've had no snow days.
Yeah.
Of course, we all got friends who plow snow for the various municipalities, and they're hurting.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So we got to make sure that there's a little something
for them,
right?
Yeah.
They can plow the roads. I just don't want to plow my driveway or shovel my sidewalk.
But all in all, what a winter it's been. Beautiful. We can't complain. We're on the other side. We're heading towards spring, and that's really encouraging.
Yeah, March 5th, I think, is when we changed over to, what is it? Do we go to daylight savings time or regular at that? Anyway, we get an extra hour.
So we spring ahead, which means we lose an hour's sleep on March 5th.
But you know what? We'll gladly do that to get that extra hour of sunlight.
Groundhog said that.
What did he say? Punxsutawney
6 more weeks.
Yeah.
So that was a week and a half ago or so. Yeah. So we only have a few weeks left. That's who I go by.
Yeah. Well.
Good.
Isn't it great to be together, though? It really is. We've all been doing our own thing and chatting all the time. However, to sit in the studio is nice.
Here we are back. Here we are back. What's going on? Representative, you start. You're here. You first.
Well, I'm going to tell.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. I'm glad. We'll talk work in a second. But
yes.
I am so thrilled to tell you all that I am a grandmother for the second time. Although if you are on any form of social media, you already know that. But
what a big boy.
Yeah, he was almost 9. He was 8'15", almost 9 pounds. The doctor a week and a half earlier told my daughter, you're measuring a little small. I'm like, really? That was not small. So Hudson Kenneth Cooper.
Oh, very nice.
So he's got his grandfather, the other guy, John Francis Cooper IV, had his dad's side in his name. This guy, and everyone's well. And we're thrilled, over the moon. And those of you who are grandparents, which are everyone at this table, knows the joy it feels. And we're over the moon. So that's a plus. And we'll talk about work in a minute.
That's more important than work.
It is.
Yes, absolutely.
It is. Any other personal notes anyone wants to share before we?
Well, just talking about grandchildren, as everybody in the audience knows who's a grandparent, it's the best, isn't it? You get all the enjoyment, none of the responsibilities. How could it be better?
That's right. And you've had a chance, Rep, to travel with your grandchildren now that they're older.
They do all right.
That's got to be a joy.
Now my grandson also is going to be he's enlisted in the Marine Corps and he'll be leaving this summer.
Get out.
Yeah.
Isn't that
no? Seriously?
He's going in as a PFC. So, because he enlisted ahead of time.
Private first class, right?
So, he goes in already as an E2?
E2.
Wow.
So he'll be at Parris Island in August.
Wow.
It's a tough time to be there. I told him that. But
when were you there?
I was there in the summer as well, July and August.
I was there in January, thank God.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to him. What a proud moment as a grandfather.
Wow. Did he always know?
Yeah, he wanted to do that. So.
Well, we thank him. Thank him for us.
He's graduating in June, and he'll be there in the summer.
Talking about the armed services, it reminds us that we have a new Secretary of Veteran Services for Massachusetts.
Yeah, our colleague in the House, Dr. John, Representative and Dr. John Santiago, was just tapped yesterday, to be Secretary of Veterans, a new Veterans Secretary that, of course, cabinet level with the governor. And he was a state rep. a doctor, emergency room doctor, who worked double shifts through the COVID. He's had a couple of deployments, and he's an incredibly bright
that's amazing.
and wonderful human being. And
I
so
know
we're
he'll
very
do, he'll
proud.
do a great job.
Can't wait to have him down here to Fall River. You'll all, when you meet him, you'll see this,
do a
this
wonderful
guy's
job.
110%. He's a
Yeah.
straight
Yeah,
up.
absolutely.
He's a great guy.
Absolutely. He has his hands full. You know, we're building a new soldiers' home in Holyoke, and we've restructured the leadership over there.
Yeah, that's. I'm
And
glad
it's
that's
never
happening.
easy to, no, I'm glad that's happening too. But it's never easy to make those type of structural, organizational changes, you know.
Speaking of veterans, I just want to get this in. Yesterday, Senator and I had a meeting with General Keefe, National Guard, and among many issues, of course, now I'm assigned to the Veterans Committee again, so I'm happy to be there. But
That's so
among-
great. They got the right person for that.
We'll talk about agriculture soon, but you know, the meeting was important because we, the Dwelly Street Armory has been
yeah.
a disaster. It's fallen into real disrepair. We toured that armory about just prior to COVID, if you remember, and. You know, all of the tiles are asbestos, all
awful.
breaking apart. So there's $10 million. There's $5 from the Commonwealth and $5 from the federal government that are going to be. Right now, everything's going out to bid, and they should be underway within the next 2 years. With mostly completed by the next 2 years. But that's going to be a huge facelift for that area, because while we made some improvements at Cook Pond, the site of the armory is really bringing down the area. So
You're being modest when you say you've made some improvements to Cook
Yeah,
Pond.
no.
Yeah. It's really coming along.
Yeah.
some
nicely.
changes.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it will continue.
Good,
But
good.
thank you. I wanted to just say
Yeah,
that.
that's good news. It's
So
been,
can
it's
we
been a long
con-
coming.
Can we congratulate you, Mr. Chairman, again for, you know, so just to back up, all of us have been now assigned to different committees. That's the first thing we do in the beginning of a new two-year session. Oftentimes it changes and so forth. When it gets to positions that the senator has, the chairman of Ways and Means at the top, where all the money goes through, and the Senate side. Thrilled to have you back.
I'm thrilled to be back. I told Patty, good news and bad news. She goes, what's the good news? I'm like, I was reappointed as chair of Ways and Means. And she goes, well, what's the bad news? I was reappointed. So I'm honored and thrilled. It's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of work. I mean, while I am directly involved in pretty much every piece of legislation that flows through the legislature, I write the budget, so I'm intimately involved with that. That's the good news. The bad news is the amount of sacrifice that, you know, that's why I rely on my great colleagues here. I can't be at every local event because I'm literally at the State House 5 days a week. And come now that we're writing the budget, it'll be 12
But you do a
hours
great
day.
job. You get to many of those locations.
I
and
try, but
When
I
you're not
try,
there,
but-
we back you up.
And you have brought so much to Fall River.
We all
as a
have.
result.
We all
well,
have. We all
sure,
have.
We,
Yep.
as we do, we work as a team.
Right.
But having you in your position,
Means a lot.
Yeah.
Yep. So
And on the House side, which is where the three of us reside in the building, we have, once again, Aaron Michaelwitz and our chair of Ways and Means.
Great
and
partner, a
you
great
two
friend and a
are
great partner.
Incredible
Yep.
partners,
Yep.
and we're thrilled. So
Yep.
I'm
And,
thrilled.
yes, so please.
Congratulations.
Congratulations
Thank
to
you.
our, I mean, our House delegation did incredible
Yeah,
with their appointments.
So they do different
Positions
appointments.
of influence, yes.
And so I am thrilled. I'm one of 5 women chairs this session on the committees. And I've been asked to chair municipalities and regional government, which is going to allow me to have a lot of bills. I was last on tourism, arts and cultural development, which I love, which I enjoyed so
surprised you
much.
moved. I'm surprised.
Well, you know why? Because I think it gives me a chance to work closer with members, because almost every member has a bill that comes through this committee, and so it's going to allow me to, you know, develop those different relationships with the members.
Is that where a home rule petitions?
So almost all home rule petitions.
I had a conversation with Mayor Coogan this morning. We're going to chat right after this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as a matter of fact, it's a new committee for me, and so all of us who get assignments like this, I met with I have two research director, research analysts, people who've been at it for a while in this committee, so that's valuable. But the stuff's coming in fast and furious. We already talked about looking ahead and what dates, because so many bills require a lot of hearings.
Right.
And now, post-pandemic, these hearings that we chair as chair people, we have to be live in person at the State House.
No, I think your Senate chair, co-chair is
Yes, Jake Oliveira.
Senator
And so
Oliveira, great guy.
Great guy. We're already chatted.
Yep.
But so now every bill has to go before a public hearing live. You, if you want to testify as public, can continue to do it remotely. We ensured that would happen
Which is a
in the
wonderful
rules.
thing, which is great.
But we, as chairs,
Great step forward on that, by the way.
It's so great. People from all over the Commonwealth don't have to drive in and
Pay
and
$50
wait.
for parking.
Oh,
I think chairs and vice chairs have to be present.
We have
but
to be
members of
present.
the committee
That's right.
could
So-
still come in via Zoom as well. So I think it's going to be a positive.
So I love it. I'm going to have a lot of interesting bills as well. When anything changes in a municipality, and it's going to come through the committee, and I'll fill you in more as we move along. But I'm thrilled.
And Representative Schmidt,
You got a new committee.
Chair of Agriculture.
What do you know about
Surprising,
agriculture? What do you know
surprising.
about farming?
So,
listen to that.
Representative Sylvia and I are so pleased and honored to be on the newly constituted Ag Committee. This is,
Oh, yeah.
Michael, somebody was asking me, have we ever had an Ag Committee standing on its own before?
Not that I.
Not
First
It's
time.
always been
You are
environmental.
the first appointed chairman
Agriculture
of
and natural
agriculture
resources.
in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, we
Right.
had that.
Right.
Now we've split it off.
We have work to do to create a new committee. Why create a new Ag Committee? Well, first of all, we thank the Senate President and the House Speaker. And it's just a reflection of the fact that we recognize what inflation has done to the cost of groceries. And it's going to keep on rising because we read about the drought that's going on in California. Price of vegetables is going to keep increasing. And one thing we can do about it is grow more of what we eat here in Massachusetts.
Yeah. And you've been a staunch promoter and advocate of that, Representative, Mr. Chair. And, like a lot of things that we do, the public doesn't yet always see the big value in it. Is that right to say? I mean, there's things we address. I'm thinking about how postpartum, another whole different topic, has created such awareness right now through a tragedy or through an issue.
Right.
Well,
You've been a real leader on that issue.
And we'll learn more about that. I have a show. My show is about postpartum depression. Anyway,
Monday?
coming up, and you may have already heard it. But it takes an issue, droughts, increased cost of groceries and goods,
Crisis.
to get. And then we're seeing it early on too, and we try to respond. But it takes time to affect change.
It's shocking when you
that's
go to
key.
Market Basket,
Well,
Stop
the
and Shop,
economy
Shores,
is,
wherever you do your grocery shopping.
And I'm happy to be serving with you on that
Well,
committee.
we are-
And
We are
people
going to
say,
be working
"What the-
together, Representative.
What the heck is someone from a gateway city where I don't have any farming land to speak of, but we have a food insecurity issue, major issue. Matter of fact, my conversation recently with the speaker in his office a few weeks ago talked about the problems we have in our district, my district, with food insecurity. So agriculture, of course, plays a very important role in that. We have 7 or 8 food pantries and kitchens that are going strong in Fall River, trying to get people the food that they need. So
Thank goodness for the
that's,
food bank, the Greater Boston Food Bank.
Oh,
We
yeah,
cannot, I mean, they're the ones providing
supply
every
it.
one of these organizations with groceries. Unlimited. The problem is they have to go and get them.
Yeah.
It's, transportation costs, et cetera. But we have the food here to try to meet that gap.
Thankfully we do.
And just as a reminder to everybody, if you
Yep.
are on SNAP, if you are receiving that benefit, you now have an increased benefit, which is the Healthy Incentives Program. You can get an extra $40, $50 a month when you shop at a farmer's market, right?
Right, in Fall River right now, that's at Cardinal Medeiros Towers.
Every Friday.
Yeah. So you get, like, if anyone out there who has SNAP benefits, regardless of how much you receive each month, you can go to a farmer's market, again, in Fall River, it's Cardinal Medeiros, and go on a Friday from 12 to 2, and you can buy, like you said, 40, 50, 60, depending on your family size, produce, and that money goes right back on your card. You don't use it. It's free produce.
So that is one of the ways that we in the legislature have responded to what we know is an issue here in Fall River. By the way, the regular summer farmers markets will resume, I think, May 15,
Right.
and
This spring.
there's one in your district,
Right, St. Anne's.
Alan. Yeah.
At St. Anne's
Yeah.
In Ruggles
Hospital,
Park.
and
Yeah.
then another at
Is there one in Kennedy Park?
no.
No?
They don't
St. Anne's.
participate in that
No.
program. It's another story, but
Okay.
St. Anne's Hospital grounds, where
And
yours,
the family services on
Health First,
Health First.
and then Ruggles
and
Park.
Ruggles Park.
Yep.
So there's three.
And Cardinal Medeiros will
Cardinal Medeiros.
continue.
Good.
So there'll be
Good.
plentiful opportunities for people to not only shop fresh local foods, produce, but use their SNAP benefits and get free produce.
That's okay. And of course, we're also working on getting local healthy food into our schools. We have been working on trying to offer healthy food in addition to the French fries and
Tater tots.
and all that stuff, which is very
Chicken fingers.
tasty, but it's
Pizza.
awful for you.
Squares.
So I know that the
I'm not a fan of tater tots.
Hey, listen, they're not bad.
you love your broccoli just the way all of us
Yeah.
do. But we're trying to get that local healthy foods into our school system. So there's a lot of things that we're going to be working on.
And just to be honest, people who are on SNAP benefits have seen that the additional funds that COVID relief was
Right.
able to give them in SNAP benefits, timing couldn't be worse, because typically when a benefit comes on to address an issue like this, like the pandemic, et cetera, then they kind of retract that benefit, and it's okay. But what's happened is just what we said. Cost of goods and groceries have
Absolutely.
gone skyrocketed. So there's been a little bit of an outcry, certainly, by all of us and by the
Yep,
recipients.
we hit that cliff the end of March.
Yeah.
It'd be so we're going to backfill to kind of create a glide path.
The other major issue, and really we have seen, especially in Fall River, the housing crisis is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many people a week, at least 10 people a week come to my office on South Main Street because they're either being evicted or they're being priced out of their apartment. And it is, I know Rep. Fiola put together a beautiful handbook that will be distributed.
Monday, you'll get it. Everyone will have it Monday.
Yeah, I know
so
there was
you
some
can give it to
corrections.
your
Right.
constituents. We've been updating it a bit.
It's,
Good.
it's a
Oh,
great
that is so
resource.
needed.
It's a great resource so that we can, it's so frustrating when someone comes to you and says, Alan, I don't have a place to live. I'm being evicted the first of next month. We have lots of resources available to us in the way of Fall River Housing Authority, Catholic Social Services, different types of programs like RAFT and United Way, but we have to streamline that to help folks, and which we do the best we can. We have been very successful with the numbers that we've been dealing with, but it's still an ongoing issue, and with rents increasing, I continue to say this, but 4 or 5 years ago, 2-bedroom apartment in Fall River was about $650 a month.
That was normal rent.
Today that number is doubled. So people who are living on fixed incomes, especially those on Social Security, and I'm talking about that older population who are getting $1,200 a month, $1,100 a month in Social Security. To pay a $1,200 a month rent is nearly impossible, especially if they're in their late 70s, early 80s. So Governor Healy is committed to making many improvements in housing. It's going to be, I guess, one of the major projects on our calendar. And we just want you to know that we're on it, and we're going to do all we can.
By the way, Alan, tip of the hat to the Fall River Housing Authority.
Yes.
They do a fabulous job. Only thing is, they can't create housing out of the blue sky, but they take really good care of the properties that we do have. They were just putting a new roof on Cattell this winter, which was something a lot of the residents were asking us about, and we were happy to be able to make that happen. But just wanted to mention
And they're dealing
our
with
respect
many
for what
lists, you know, and people will say, well, where are you on the list? Or, I'm 57 or 157. And that's, you know, there are only so many units available.
And Mike Dion over at CDA,
Mike Dion
and the
does a
mayor,
great job
they
for us.
have resources, so we plug them in. We're here to help plug in the needs. The other thing is, yeah, we need more housing, and it can't all come from Fall River. And communities can't say, we don't want to do it, we don't want to do it, we're too small to grow, or we're too... We have to continue to look at how to build more housing. And affordable does not mean low income. It means affordable. And there's a difference. And so people have been afraid of that word affordable. And we
'Cause what
can't
does it
do it
mean?
anymore.
You always say, what's the definition of affordable? I'm on a housing project.
80% of the annual median income.
Yeah.
And so 80% of our annual median income is different than the annual
That's
median
right.
income in
Newton.
Concord
Right.
or Newton. So it depends on that community. I just read this morning where Concord, Mass, very high-end community, is receiving, because they have hotels, those hotels are now being used, this is a whole nother subject, and will to house people coming in, homeless and immigrant populations. Well, they were indicating that, my point is, they said a 2-bedroom rental in Concord, $3,300. $3,300 in Concord. So what has happened here in Fall River? You've seen it. You know, part of this supply-demand issue that's happened in the raising of the prices has been people from north of us, in particular, have been finding their way to Fall River because while it's expensive to us, it's been less expensive to them. And that's really created a bit of this as well. So we wanted to grow and diversify our population and our offerings of housing, but it can't be at the detriment of the people you mentioned that are still
the
here.
surrounding communities have to help. And
Very
I know
Yeah.
that in Westport, there's been a real desire to
Good.
have more affordable housing. We know we just built 55 units at Nokachoke, there by where 177 Route 6. And of course, there's already 600 people on the wait list for those apartments. But Senator and I, particularly the senator, have been working on bringing water and sewer down Route 6, and if we're able to do that, or at least start it.
Hopefully it'll happen in my lifetime. I don't know.
Come on, if anybody can do it, it's you.
Well, you've already brought a significant amount of money, but doing that will allow us to put in housing, which we hope
More
we can
housing,
have
yeah.
affordable housing, senior housing, veterans housing, and people in Westport want to do their share also.
You're headed in the right direction. I feel good about that. You know, as many faults as we can come up with and hear so many criticisms, we're heading in the right direction when it comes to this issue of housing, which is, you know, it's been labeled a crisis, and it is, but we're moving in the right direction.
Senator, I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
What do you see in the coming year are some of your priorities? And you know, you look at things oftentimes from above, right? You look down because you have to cover everything.
Right.
So what do you see as some of your priorities?
Certainly housing, continually working on housing and housing production because it is a supply and demand issue. There's so much demand for housing and low supply creates inflation. Healthcare, we see inflation really affecting healthcare. We see the workforce crisis affecting healthcare, and something I'm digging in on is working on trying to create more nurses. We need more nurses, and there's no reason why. There's lots of little reasons why we are not producing more nurses, but nothing insurmountable, in my opinion. So working on that, and also in this post-COVID world where, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts received over $140 billion in federal dollars during this COVID, between ARPA funds, COVID relief funds. City of Fall River still has $49 million of ARPA money in the bank they haven't spent. That's on the towns, on the municipal side. I still think there's like $40 million on the school side at least. That's sitting in the bank. All this influx of federal dollars, again, supply and demand, increased supply of dollars that created an increased demand for goods and services, but a restriction in supply of goods and services has caused inflation. And we see inflation now at 6-7%, where it was hovering around 1 or 2%. And what is that going to mean on the state budget? And how are we going to navigate that? Something I'll be working very closely with Chairman Michaelwitz on.
Yeah.
You spoke earlier this week up at the State House on early education and the Head Start program.
Yes, that is a priority of both the House and Senate, EEC, and we are well along the way. The Senate last year passed the EEC Foundation bill. We're hoping this year we can get it across the finish line. We put hundreds of $millions into a reserve account. There's a transitional escrow account, reserve account, because it's not just providing the resources or vouchers for students to have full-day kindergarten. We don't have the infrastructure in place. We don't have the classrooms. We don't have the teachers. So, we said, okay, let's build this. We have some money. We had a surplus last year. We have some money. Let's put money aside for EEC. So there's a few $100 million in an EEC reserve account because we'll be spending it in this budget coming up in the spring.
That's an important, and all of you know, every year since I've been legislator,
that's been your issue.
I have filed a bill for early childhood education to get our 3 to 5-year-olds in a classroom as soon as possible, especially for Gateway City.
And daycare is so important. So we've created. So look at the time, Senator. You're in charge.
A minute. I'm in charge. A minute. You have a minute.
Can I also throw out to people
Let's do another
30 seconds each.
to reach out? Another big thing happening in the city. Route 79 is underway.
Oh yes,
We've
being
been
torn down.
planning for this. Please don't panic. We always say, whether it was the Blue Braga Bridge or the Veterans Memorial Bridge, it's going to come with a little bit of pain and a little restructuring your routine and travel. There will be a way to get along the waterfront. There's a great website on mass.gov, Route 79. If you're online, do that. If you're not, reach out to me or any of our offices. We'll give you that link. We'll be talking more about it, but it's happening. If you have any concerns or questions, reach out, because it is going to be to continue to build on the progress of Fall River that we have all been
When it's
waiting
completed, you will be thrilled.
for. Yeah, you
That's
will.
going to be
very
beautiful.
nice.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Nice way to end our half hour.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
That was